Good day, my friend. This is Martin Comtois, MC Starman from Duncan on Vancouver Island on this beautiful spring day. We're here to talk to talk together about the Saturn Uranus square. I've talked a lot about it already, but this is a presentation that I've been preparing that goes through the whole sequence of time that we're facing and then exploring the deep archetypal meaning of this Saturn Uranus square in our times. It should be a very interesting comparison. I don't know how you've been feeling it yourself, but very difficult, challenging time. And so today we'll just look at the archetypal structure and try to get some lessons from that. Please subscribe to the channel. Please follow our work, comment, ask questions. The more engagement, the better. It is a modern age and it's built on engagement. So here we are. Um, we're going to be sharing our presentation with you. Here we go. So this is the Healer and the Dreamer astrology. Um, We mix astrology, alchemy, dreamworks, and Jung. We have all kinds of beautiful little playlists on our channel. Check it out. The Healer and the Dreamer weaves an insightful tapestry using astrology, alchemy, dreamwork, and the analytical psychology of Carl Gustav Jung to bring clarity to the path of self-realization in our modern times. We are doing the Saturn Uranus cycle in our times. I'm Martin Comtois and my brand MC Starman. And so here we are. Um, so the Saturn Uranus square in 2021. So here we have the chart of February 18th. We have um, the sun about to go into Pisces, but we have Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury conjunction in square to Uranus moon. So that was like the first real big taste of this Saturn Uranus exact square. June 18th was the first one, right before the sun came into um, into Pisces. And then we have June 15th, 2021, at Aquarius Taurus at 13 degrees. Then we have December 25th, 2021, 11 degrees of Aquarius Taurus. Then November 8, 2022, 18 degrees of Aquarius. Now, um, most astrologers don't mark this fourth one, and really it's almost like a fifth one, fourth and fifth, because of retrogression. Never exact, but within 1 degree of each for 3 months in 2022, September, October, November. Uranus and Saturn in square will be within 1 degree of each other, and they get to about 30 seconds of each other, 40 seconds of each other, 40 minutes of each other. But then, because of retrogression, they move apart again. And so we are going to be feeling this one all the way till 2022. And my sense is the conclusion of this period will come at that time. So we're in for a prolonged um, duration of time on this one. Just like we were in last year with the Pluto alignments. So the Saturn Uranus cycle in our time. Um, so we'll look at the fixed signs. We'll look at the relationship of Saturn. So of Saturn and Uranus in myth. We'll look at the history of the cycle in our times. And then we are going to talk about our current Saturn Uranus square, which I just showed you. And so that's our presentation for you today. So fixed signs, the fixed signs are the middle of each season. So we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And in the middle of each season, we have the fixed sign of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. So it forms a square, so or a grand cross. And so these fixed signs, they're the center of the zodiac. They're really where we find our grounding. This is um, mm, the signs that are responsible for determination and for anchoring things. And so Taurus seeks to give a sense of permanency to life. Uh, Leo is not doubtful of what his mission is in the world. Scorpio, very intense. Aquarius, what is the highest good for everyone? These four mythological aspects of the zodiac anchor the zodiac. And so that this square takes place in fixed signs is really important. Another thing that you want to remember about fixed signs is any planets that you personally have in fixed signs, especially in the middle of the fixed signs, will be strongly affected by this square. And so keep an eye on that in your chart. And if you need some help on that, please reach out and I can help you with a little bit of a transit reading and see how this works out for you. And so the fixed grand cross is the anchor of the zodiac. Earth, Taurus, fire, Leo, water, Scorpio, air, Aquarius. So all four elements are involved here. And keep an eye on the fixed signs because these are going to be very important triggers in your own personal development. So the mythological aspects the of Saturn and Uranus. So we're going to look at mythology here. We have some picture. We see Uranus, and we see all the planets around the zodiac. Here we have more of a kind of Aquarius kind of feeling to it here. All of the signs of the zodiac, and we have the sky god Uranus. Uranus is the sky god, and this is the astrological pantheon. So Uranus was once king of the gods, and then we have Saturn. Saturn is known as Chronos and sometimes as Kairos. So Chronos is linear time, Kairos is magical time. So we have the two dragons of time, the harvest and the sickle, so represents hard work and determination and the confrontation of opposites. In alchemy, Saturnus is known to be hermaphrodite, containing both masculine and feminine. And so Saturn, the timekeeper, and Uranus, the sky god, the king of the gods. And both at times they became kings of the gods. And we'll look at that right now. So Uranus is the light bringer. And so here we see Uranus bringing, or Prometheus bringing fire to the humans. And this is a very interesting myth. Both Liz Green and Richard Tarnas in their books describe Uranus as the Promethean archetype, the Prometheus. Prometheus is the light bringer, and he pays a very heavy price for bringing lights to the humans. Um, Jupiter, Zeus, curses him to be nailed to a rock and his liver eaten by an eagle every morning, and overnight the liver grows back. And so Uranus, Prometheus, the light bringer, pays a really heavy price. And so We have Promethean or Uranian individuals like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, great revolutionaries, Che Guevara, who pay a very heavy price for their light bringing. And so the paradox in the Promethean Uranus archetype is very common. And then here we have Saturn castrating Uranus. So Saturn overthrew Uranus, Uranos, as the chief of the gods, and that is before Zeus overthrew him. And so we always have a change of power in the gods. And so, this struggle for power, what are, we take as gods, what we valued most, like in our times, the scientific revolution. We have accepted that as our gods, and it has overthrown our spiritual, religious basis that we had prior to the Enlightenment. And so here we are again, experiencing the same thing of Saturn castrating Uranus. And so really interesting how the revolutionary is castrated by the Grim Reaper. And then here we see another picture of Saturn. Saturn is known to eat his children because he doesn't want competition. And so Saturn and square to Uranus is really interesting in that way. And Saturn is a very, negative, challenging, dark. Sometimes it's compares to as the devil. And then we have the Lightbringer, and then the castration of the Lightbringer. And so very, very similar to what we're experiencing in different ways in our collective right now. And then last set of pictures. Okay, here was the Uranian god, Uranos, the light bringer. You can see the lightning, you can see the light, and you can see the powerful god, and you can see Saturn eating his children. Saturn rules Aquarius, and the fish goat, Capricorn. So Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and Aquarius, Uranus, the light bringer, lightning, also co-ruler of Aquarius. And so with Saturn and Aquarius, Saturn is very serious in Aquarius and doesn't like the competition. Here's nice too, huh? The Ouroboros, the snake that eats itself, and then Saturn getting ready to eat his children. Huh? So this confrontation of these two archetypes occur in history. And then so we'll have a better idea of what that looks like in our next slide here. Boom. So the last two Saturn Uranus cycles. So now we're going to go from the bottom to the top Saturn Uranus conjunction in 2032, and then Saturn Uranus conjunction in May 1942. These are the last two cycles. So we start with the conjunction. Saturn Uranus in conjunction in May 1942. I don't think we need to really explore what that means a little more, but that's when the war, the Great World War, started to really shift. The Saturn Uranus, Saturn control, Uranus revolutionary. We have the allies with the technology starting to push back against Germany. And so Saturn, Uranus also followed a Uranus Pluto square from 28 to 1940. And so very similar to right now, we had 2008 to 2020, we had the Uranus Pluto square. And then at the end of it comes the Saturn Uranus square, which really ties into this unfolding. And so the Saturn Uranus conjunction in May 1942, the big pushback of against fascism and against oppression. Saturn Uranus square, December 1951 to 1952. Depending on the times, and the retrogradation of both planets, sometimes we only have one exact angular relationship with Saturn and Uranus, and sometimes we have many and they last for a little while longer. So 51, 52, very empowering technological times. All the technology we developed in the war is now being put to work. Cars, so many different things are coming up. It's really the beginning of our modern life. All the technology, television, all of these things. We're entering into the technological era. On Saturn, on the discipline. And then also we have all kinds of growing political conflict after the war, the building of the Iron Curtain, and the tension between the Cold War, between the Soviet bloc and the Americans and the Western allies, and the formation of NATO and all Saturn Uranus stuff, and the beginning of the Korean War. And so Saturn Uranus, tells a story. Saturn Uranus opposition, August 65 to 67. Now that's interesting time, because at that time, Uranus and Pluto were in exact conjunction in Virgo, and then Saturn came in opposition. So this is a Saturn Uranus Pluto opposition, 65 to 67. And so, we get, now the Saturn Uranus alignment falls exactly during the Uranus Pluto alignment, which is a much larger, longer duration. And so Saturn Uranus is in opposition, 65 to 67. Then the last square, the waning square, 75 to 77. Very important time as well. Well, for us French Canadian, we the PQ won over, and those were really difficult times in Canada. Most of the Anglophones feeling very insecure, and doing backdoor deals and all kinds of political machinations to keep Quebec part of Canada, but also throughout the world. This is the real beginning of the Back to the Land movement that was kind of started in 65, 67. Now we have all kinds of communes, and all, the movement back to the land is really happening, but also the tension of the Cold War. And then the next conjunction, and this is really important, the Saturn Uranus conjunction is 1942 and then 1988. And at that time, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are in triple conjunction. Very, very important time, very, very important generation that come to of age in the new millennium. And so that's February to October 1988 was the conjunction. Very, very important time. Those who are born in 1988 have that Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Uranus, Neptune is this new generation of spiritual revolutionary, and Saturn, the mastery of the self. And so very, and in the world, we had the falling off of the Iron Curtain. We had the release of a tremendous amount of freedom, Uranus, Lightbringer, Saturn, discipline towards a new world, overcoming obstacles, how the whole Iron Curtain just and the whole Cold War dissipated into, and what what that decade of the 90s brought about in the new mysticism and a new connection to mystical traditions that really spread during those times. And so that Saturn Uranus conjunction in 1988 is very important. And so then if we look at the Saturn Uranus conjunction in 1942, and then in 1988, and then 2032 is the next one. And so that'll be definitely something we want to watch for. Then Saturn Uranus was in a waxing square in May 2000, Y2K, and everything that happened at the turn of the millennium. Uh, um, which also a Saturn Uranus season, and then Saturn Uranus opposition 2008 to 2010. This is also very significant. The economic crash, the anonymous movement. I think the greatest mystery about our times is that we went from wearing anonymous mask and fighting the 1% to wearing surgical mask under the order of the 1%. And so really explains kind of the shift that we're going and what's going on. Now we're not really, we've gotten to completely follow what the 1% is telling us from those times of 2008 and 2010, realizing that the economy is ruled by these tyrannical individuals who control all of the assets, and so we can see the hands, and that's how good the 1% is, right? In short 10 years, shift everything around. So that's the Saturn Uranus opposition 2008 to 2010, and then now currently 21 to 22, the Saturn Uranus square, the waning square, which, and then the next season for that will be the Saturn Uranus conjunction in 2032. So that gives you kind of an idea of what this means for all of us. Um, what an incredible tension that we've all been going through. Before the crisis, before COVID, as astrologers, we spoke of the tension that was present, deep psychological tension. Um, we looked at 2020 as a breaking point, and we did really have our breaking point. And now, what's coming? What's ahead? And so these next 2 years, the Saturn Uranus square, especially this next full moon, we just had a new moon here just a few days ago, and this next full moon aligns in a T square with the Saturn Uranus um, square. And so we're going to get a real good feeling for what that feels. So as the year goes by, we're going to keep an eye on these things and continue to get to understand and learn how these two archetypes, conflicting archetypes. And it's interesting that they both rule Aquarius, and that Saturn is in Aquarius. And so Saturn's very strong. So the eating of the children, but also uh, um, Saturn is mastery of community, and then Saturn Uranus together ruling Aquarius, and then with in 2024 Pluto coming into Aquarius. It really feels like the community is being challenged by a sense of living with such a difficult standards. We're being held accountable for all of the trespasses of the past, and Saturn is almost impractical in Aquarius, demanding the highest ideals, and then Uranus, the kickback. Now, Uranus and Taurus is not very happy there. Taurus is all about giving form to things and nurturing and planting seeds and growing, what we have, and Uranus is shaking that. So then that Saturn Uranus square, very interesting how it's all being played out. Mm, and so, what happened? Um, Here we go. So, what do we have next on the slideshow? Okay, I've been doing the understanding the zodiac through mandala drawing. I've lagged for the last couple of weeks without the number 4, but the number 4 will be out this week. It's about the elements, and we've had really fun times with this. I will be sharing some of the mandalas that came out. So if you want to join us for that, of course, it is also on YouTube for a little while longer. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to that and drop me an email. And then um, I'm still offering spring transit reading specials, $40 for half an hour. If you're interested, please reach out for that to see where that Saturn Uranus square falls in your chart and what that means to you as an individual. Really powerful times. And again, this flavor to the times that we are experiencing will continue for the next couple of years. We're going to really pay attention to June and then December and then next 2022 in the fall. It's always an honor sharing this astrology wisdom with you. Please again follow our channel and follow us on Facebook. We put new moon and full moon reports on there regularly, and thank you for supporting my work. The work that I do is supported by the readings that I do, and it is to support my clients. Those of you who have received readings from me, this is to further your understanding of astrology and keep you abreast as you do the work of integration, as we've discussed. So if creativity is a fire, I'm your biggest fan, and that is my job to get you to be so confident in your capabilities and in your sense of vocation and calling that this great fire that burns within you can shine its light into the world. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Whoop, whoop, whoop.